If you're looking for a game for a mixed outing, as maybe Auntie Jan or Little Timmy showed up, then one of today's games is for you. What's gaming, y'all? I'm Ryan, and welcome to the Board Game Journey, where you will be joining me to play 1,000 games. Now, we recently added 18 games to the journal. Boom! And then today we are adding 3 more. They're going to be family-friendly games. One thing I discovered as I went deeper and deeper into this hobby is that not everyone's into board games as you. I know. I don't get it either. However, the mad scientists that work in the basements of most board game companies have devised a genius ploy. Make super cute games that are still fun for gamers like us, but are still approachable to everyone else. Let's get into it. First up is Gardlings. This is a bag building, tile laying race to 20 points. With Gardling, each player starts with the same 8 starting tiles in their bag, and they will continue to pull them, pushing their luck. Now, if pushing luck is a new term for you, essentially that means each turn you take, you increase your risk of busting. Now, in this case, busting has a penalty, which we'll get into in a minute here. Gardlings can be broken down pretty easily. Each player starts with the same 8 starting tiles in their bag. Now, these tiles are mainly gnomes to start, and gnomes in this game are bad because in front of you, you never can have more than 5 gnomes. If you get more than 5, you bust, and you'll get a penalty. We'll cover it in a second. So connections, you need to understand those before we go any further. So what is it? So a connection is when you can take 2 tiles and join 2 of the same gemstone colors. In this case, right here, we have a half a green. That makes 1 green gemstone connection. That would be one. And essentially, in this game, it's like $1. That'll give you like $1 buying power in this game, or gold, whatever you want to call it. Now, you gotta be careful because you can't just even though this is technically a valid connection on this top green, the bottom one doesn't work because that's 2 pink and that's a purple. And, 2 and 1 don't go good in this game. So you would have to have at least another double pink here or a single purple to make that work. So after round 1, you have mainly gnomes in your bag. So a typical ending position might be this, where I drew one of these pity pigs and I drew, this would be 5 gnomes here, right? So I have to stop here. If I try to go again, there's 1 pig in there, but most likely I'm not gonna draw that one, I will bust. So I'll stop here. Now, how many connections is this? So that's 1 purple, that's like this gold, green, and this double pink. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would give me 5 connections. Now, I would stop here. Now, everyone is doing this simultaneously. They're all going till they want to stop. And ultimately, once everyone's done, then you go to the buying phase. So I have 5 connections. You notice on the board here, there's a 4, 7, 10, and 14. So I have 5. So right now, I'm in between the 4 and the 7. So I only can buy a tile from the 4 row. Now, this is where the push your luck comes to it, right? Because I'm like, oh, I have 5. I can just get 2 more connections. I can get a 7. Now, very likely I could draw that pig and maybe get 2 connections, but at this point in the stage, you're almost better just taking the 4, getting better tiles, and then trying to get after that. I'll point out one thing, because as you go up in value of tile, you'll notice that they get more valuable. Like this, like if you look at the 14 here, some of these, a lot of them have doubles, some even have triples on them. So that's why if you can save up, then if you get, you get a few triples, oh man, you're connecting like maybe 6, 9, points and just a couple of tiles. And trust me, it kind of has that Quinlan Bird type vibe where you should stop, but you're looking at everyone else and you're like, man, they have 7 connections. I still only have 6. I'm going for it, and you go for it. Probably will bust, but maybe not. And you have those those high highs of board gaming. So the last thing to know is the penalty. Now, the penalty varies on what version you're playing. So this game kind of counts with 2 versions, a very, very family-friendly version and a slightly more advanced version. So in the family-friendly one, you only lose 3 connections. So it's not too big of a penalty, but in the more advanced one, you do lose half. You lose half your connections. So I typically just go for the more chill, lose 3, because I think it opens up some fun decision points to make. So I'll leave it up to you which one you want to play with. Okay, it's my turn. What should I do? Now, this is where I currently am at. Now, I have 5 gnomes, so I'm sitting at the max. Doing the math, I think I have about 3 gnomes in the bag, and I have 3 good tiles in the bag. So I'm at literally a 50-50 shot now of busting. Now, I could stop here. We'll see how many connections I have. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 connections. Now, the one thing I haven't covered in the earlier teach was each tile can have some special powers. Now, there's a couple here. I have these mushrooms, and then mushrooms are interesting because I'll show you here on the screen. is they have this like bonus one. So if you can fill in both sides of this like middle gem, you get the third gem. So that's why here it's 1, 2, 3. Because I'm counting the 2 outside and I have the internal one. So it's like a 3. So the way you get extra points. And I have another one here. It's like a wild. So these little like bird little creatures here, I'm sure they have a name. They have like this like wild gem, which can line up to anything. So that's why right here, it kind of worked out where I had this double connection here. I had the single purple connection, but this wild just connected to whatever that was. Doesn't matter what it was. So, and then there's other ones here. Depending on if you're playing the family or advanced, they can vary in terms of like how complex they get. But like I said, you choose like who you're playing with and how complex you want to go. But to me, they were not that bad. When I played the game, I just played the basic game first, no powers, just did the connections. And once we played like 3 games, I was like, okay guys, let's introduce a couple of powers. And I just said, okay, these do this, these do this. And they're like, oh, that's cool. So, and then I slowly taught them the different powers. So with my turn, I'm sitting at 8 connections. I mean, it'd be smart to stop. I can afford a nice 7 tile, but I'm only 2 away from 10. And the other people I'm playing with, I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I gotta go for it. So I got a 50-50 shot, like I said. We'll see what I get here. I'll go, so I would just draw a tile. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one. And this is literally where I do in the games. I'm like, okay, I got a good tile. I got a good one. At least, well, good meaning it's not a gnome. We'll just say that. Now the question is, can I get 2 connections out of this? Now, just because I get a tile doesn't mean you're gonna get more than 1. Because usually 1 is like pretty easy. I could split this one on top here and just make a single connection. But 9 is not gonna do me any good. It's not worth the risk. So I have a double pink, but there's no free double pink, so I know I can't do that. But that's part of that. This tile is, it does have a lot of wilds on it. It's one of those wild ones. So let's see here. I can probably do, yes, okay. I can do this. I can use 2 of the wilds to help me out. So this first wild connects with a green. It then lines up this orange for orange. And then here, it's a green and wild. So that'll give me an additional 3 connections. So that puts me over the top. I got 10, I got 11. Aha! So now I can choose one of these 2 tiles here. Now, the dragons are kind of interesting because if you can ever have, I think it's 3 dragons on the board at one time. Maybe it's 4, maybe it's 3. Essentially, you can get 1 more gnome. So if you can, you play that dragon game. Now instead of having you bust at 5, now you can have 6 gnomes and you bust after 6. So that can be cool. We could have kind of, I'll have to try that one. You haven't tried it yet, where I just go a bunch of dragons, see if I can get a bunch out there. Sometimes it is the random pick of the draw. These tiles are always shuffled, so I think you always got to pick your strategy based off what the tiles are giving you. And that's it. The game will continue like that, round after round. You keep buying tiles until someone can reach 20 connections. Now, how long it takes really does vary. Sometimes you just get a really lucky draw where you just get all your good tiles, no gnomes, and you get a lot of connections quick. There's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, you're just at 18, you're at 5, and you're just, you're so close. But if you're getting 18, you're getting a lot of these 14 tiles at that point, and your chance of getting back quickly is definitely high. Overall, I do enjoy Gardlings. I do have one negative, which I'll get to in a second. But my positive, it does remind me a lot of Quacks, which I tried to introduce Quacks to my family a while ago. And, they played it, they understood it, but it was, you could tell it was just a lot to take in for like newer gamers. And I think this is a way to introduce some of those concepts, right? That's where they understand like, the whole bag building. Fancy term I learned. They understand bag building, and it just gets them like more like, learned up and ready to do a bigger game like, Quacks. My one negative to me, which this will vary obviously depending on what you like in board games, is this game is pretty solo. Like, I noticed when playing it, everyone's just heads down, drawing, and no one cares about anyone else, right? There's a lot of this going on, like, oh yeah, I got my gnome. Oh man, I'm at 5 gnomes. Okay, I can make a connection. So you can tell everyone's just kind of mumbling to themselves. And the only time you ever, like, obviously the central board's nice because you kind of have to look up, but even then, they're not like paying attention. And, even my first game, I had to like slow people down because they would just quickly get to the end, say, okay, I have 8 connections, and they'll just be reaching for tiles while everyone's still playing. See, that part I didn't like. So I don't know. I might have to like enforce like more of a turn-based thing where we all reach into the bag, we take a tile, we place a tile, and then we continue. Kind of eliminates the whole simultaneous play, but maybe it brings people together so everyone's at least more engaged. Now, that's just me. Some people just want that personal puzzle. Hey, well, if that's the case, this is definitely the game for you. Next up is Karuba. Now, I must say this game looks like a complete kids game. And I probably would never buy it if it wasn't for my friend Caleb, who said this is a really good family game. Now, it is a very kid-friendly game, but what he didn't say, it is a lot of fun for adults. And honestly, I really haven't played this with kids yet, but I can tell it would be approachable. The goal of Karuba is to get your explorers to their matching temples. Now, each player will start with one of these boards, and they'll have tiles numbered 1 through 36. Now, all the tiles for everyone has are identical. The game really comes down to how well, efficiently you place the tiles. That really what separates, if you're gonna win or not. So in this case, you need to get your orange to the orange temple, the blue explorer to the blue temple, and so on and so forth. The game ends in 2 ways. The first person to get their explorers to all their temples will end the game, or if the last tile is placed, that will also end the game. This is definitely a race, so the first person to get to the temple will get more points. The first person will get 5 points, the second one 4, and then 3, and then 2. So, between that 3-point spread really does make a difference between being first and last. So it definitely is like a lot of, you feel like you gotta hurry up and get there quick. Now, how do you determine which tile to put down first? Well, there's a few ways. The game recommends, one player has all their tiles face down and they draw them randomly. So if I drew 34 in this case, everyone would grab their 34th tile, well, the one with the number 34 on it, and they would then place that same tile at the same time. Now, I do find this to be not great if you're playing with 4 players, because then, I feel like that's a disadvantage to the person calling it, because now everyone can kind of see what tiles they have left, and I think that is a big advantage. So what I do to, if I'm playing with 4 players, is I went ahead and bought some of these numbered tokens here. And I think they come to 1 through 100, and I went ahead and just took out the 1 through 36 I think I need for this game, and now I can just draw those, and that way everyone has the same advantage. They can see what's left and all that kind of stuff. So the 2 things to keep in mind is the rules on placing tiles and also how do you move your explorers. So the rules on placing tiles are pretty straightforward. They have to face the proper direction. So the number has to be in the same upper top left corner. It's facing you, upper top left corner, for all your tiles. You cannot rotate the tiles in this game. And this is definitely a thing that no matter how many times you say that up front, you're gonna have to watch people on their first game, because the people just naturally would just want to rotate, because I get it. They have the right curve, it works, but then you can't legally do that. So you have to kind of repeat that rule a few times in teaching it. So in this case, if I was gonna place this tile here, as long as the number is facing up, I can legally place it there and see all the numbers are facing the same direction. The other thing to know is how to move your explorers. Now, these tiles have dual purpose. They give you a path for your explorers to get to the temples, but they also give you movement by throwing them away. So they either give you 2, 3, or 4 movement depending on the tile's path. So in this case, this is like a 2 movement because there's like 2 entryways. I'll put it here. This will be a 3 movement. So this has 3 entryways, so that'll give you 3 movements. And then the last one will be a 4 right here. So if it has 4 entryways, 1, 2, 3, 4, top, in this case, all 4 sides, you can move 4 times. So if I want to move something 4 times and I have this tile, instead of placing it, I could get rid of it, and that will allow me to move 1, 2, 3, 4, this orange person, for instance, 4 movements. So this dynamic of the game definitely causes a lot of attention, because you don't, what tile are you getting rid of? Do you really not need that tile? Because there's a lot of times in this game you're gonna get rid of a tile, and 3 turns later you're like, dope, I wish I had that curve now. So you definitely have to balance like building efficiently and knowing what tiles you can toss without, risk not being able to make a move. Okay, it's my turn. I'm sort of playing blue because one of the characters is blue, but hey, what should I do? So my current situation is this. I have my little brown maroon guy at the finish line. I completed all my paths. So at this point, I don't need to worry about laying tiles. I'm just trying to get to the end as fast as possible. My orange and purple have a unique thing going on, because in this game, you can't pass by each other. So it will cause a traffic jam and a little standstill. So if I was moving this purple 1 more space, I have to then move one of the guys all the way back to clear room for the movement. You can't pass by each other. And my blue is only 2 away from reaching the temple. Now, no one has reached the blue temple yet, so I might want to go for that first because I'll get the 5 points, so that might be worth it. And I can worry about this whole standoff with the blue and purple later. So we'll see what number is next. It would be 23. So 23 is next. So that would be this tile. Now, like I said, I don't need to worry about placing it. I just need to worry about the number of movements. So this gives me 3 movements because there's 3 different paths there. So I'll get rid of that, and I can move 3. Now I can move the orange 1, 3 and get them out of the way of the purple, but I think I'll go ahead and score the blue. Come on. Got to go for that 5 points. So I would score the blue, get the 5 points, and now on my next move, I'll worry about getting the orange one next, and then eventually getting the purple in there. Yeah, Karuba is a great game. I really do enjoy it. It's one of those games where when I introduce it to people, you can tell they're very hesitant. It looks like a kid's game, and also it starts off pretty slow, so keep that in mind when you're playing this game. The first few tiles, people just they're not quite there yet. They're like, well, where do I put this? And so, but I noticed, by tile 7, by tile 8, it all starts to make sense to them. They're like, oh, okay, I gotta get this guy here. Okay, I gotta be careful not to cut the path off for this one. And then they're just, by tile 10, they're in it. They're in it to win it. Especially this is a game that usually I always end up playing 2 games, sometimes 3 in a row, because that first one, especially with new players, is that learning curve. And then they're just like, okay, I get it now, let's play again. Because, they might have made different choices in their first 5, 6 turns, right? Strangely enough, just Gardlings has that one negative. Now, this one you think would have the same issue because, you're drawing tiles, everyone's just on their personal board. They don't really care what people are doing. But I do find you care some. And it's easier in this game than, say, Gardlings to see how your opponent's doing. Like in Gardlings, I can't quickly look over and see how many connections they have. So it's hard for me to know that. But with this game, I can quickly look over someone's board and see which explorer they're about to get to the temple. Because maybe I can beat them by a turn or 2. Maybe if I see their blue one's about to score, maybe I can rush to get the blue one there before them. Or I can see okay, they're not really doing brown right now, so I can worry about other explorers first and maybe leave brown for a later turn. So is that little bit of interaction, like indirect interaction, that I find this to be a little more enjoyable in terms of I'm more invested in everyone's decisions. For those who like storage solutions, I do. I have bought all the fancy ones like the Game Genic custom organizers off Etsy, but I do find the simple salad dressing holders to be great. They come in a real small size and this kind of medium size, and they fit in the game box no problem. And they definitely, in this game, they hold all my pieces just fine. They even hold the little jewels that you're using in this game as well. So I find that's a good storage solution. I definitely, what are you guys using? Do you guys use something similar? I do find these to be great. Next up is Wandering Towers. Now, when I first saw this game advertised online, it just looked like a lot of fun. I see these little towers being moved around the board. They're being stacked up. People are trying to remember where their wizards are. And it just, I don't know. It's one of those games where I saw it. I said, my family's probably gonna love this. So let's get into it. With Wandering Towers, to win the game, you need to do 2 things. You need to fill all your potions and get all your wizards to the Raven's Keep. This guy right here, this is the Raven's Keep. Now, I'll say up front, I already upgraded my components. It comes stock with the game or just kind of cardboard cutouts that you fold up and make into towers. But I love the game, and I saw someone offering these 3D printed ones, and I splurged a little bit. To fill potions, you basically do the game's main mechanic. You move towers and you stack them. Now, if you stack on at least 1 wizard, or you could, up to as many wizards that happen to be there, you then fill 1 potion. Now, I'm going to clarify this, because this question comes up every time I play. It doesn't matter how many wizards you cover, you always just fill 1 potion on that 1 covering. Now, as you can imagine, this is where the game gets a little chaotic, because you can just keep stacking these towers all you want here. So this can go here, this person can stack here, and then they can jump over here, and so on and so forth. Before you know it, you start to lose sight of where your wizards win. So I know one of my blue ones is there, one's there. Where are the other 2? I don't know. Especially if this gets covered up and then later on it gets moved 5 times, or then you would also just move partials of the main towers. So it's definitely stretches the memory a little bit. I don't want to say I wouldn't say it's the main mechanic of the game, but definitely a big factor. So I don't know. If you don't like memory games, maybe it's not your thing, but I would say it's pretty light on that. And you're only keeping track of a few things. And honestly, it adds to the fun, in my personal opinion. So how do you move towers and wizards in this game are with these cards that everyone receives, 3 of them. And then we'll play 2 of them, and you'll draw back till you have 3 again, right? So how this works, I'll give you a flavor here of how the cards look. They're either going to be just a tower on there. There'll be just a wizard, or they might have a tower in a wizard. And in the corner, it'll be a number. It might be 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's 4 is the highest it goes, I'm pretty sure. And then there's a dice as well. So if you have a dice on there, depending if it's 1 dice, 2 dice, 3 dice, you can roll the die that comes with the game, and then you decide which roll to keep. So if you roll the first one, you say you roll 5, you can keep it or choose to discard that roll and move on to the next one. You never can go back, so that's something important. So So if you want to, you kind of are kind of like pushing your luck there. If you really need a 4, well, you can roll it 3 times and maybe get a 4, or be stuck with the last roll you get. Another cool thing about the game I really did enjoy is once one of your wizards does get into the Raven's Keep, it immediately moves to the next indicator here. But just as the next open indicator, so it moves. But sometimes you'll notice that on the towers themselves have indicators. So that's really neat too, because then you might jump on top of this. Now you never can move the Raven's Keep. It's not considered a tower, but if it's sitting on top of a tower, now you can move this, and that gets really interesting now. Okay, it's my turn. I'm playing blue. What should I do? Now, right now the Raven's Keep is right here. I have 3 guys still on the board. I'm trying to see if I can maybe get this guy into the tower. Currently, the cards I have is a move a tower 3 times, move my guy 5 times, or move a tower or my guy 3 times. So right now I'm 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So none of those let me move my guy 4 away. Now that was just a 4 movement. I could just go 1, 2, 3 and jump right in, right? I could do that. So what I think, now I also can move the tower 3. I can go like 1, 2, 3, but that doesn't really help me either. So what I think I'll do is I'll go ahead and utilize another part of the game which we haven't covered yet, is once you fill your potions, you can also spin them to activate these spells. So for instance, if I play one of these, move the tower 3 times, I can go 1, 2, 3, and that puts me 1 away. So if I could just move my guy 1, which I can't because I don't have the right card, I could get my guy in there. So what I think I'll do is I'll spend 2 potions and I'll activate this spell right here. I'll go ahead and put this right here so you guys can see it better. But when I spend 2 potions, it lets me move my guy 1 space forward so that I can just jump in like that. And now this Raven's Keep will move to the next spot. And that's it. That's my turn. Wandering Tower is just a cute game. It's a game I wanted for my family. My daughter is too young to play now. She's only 3.5. Currently, we're just playing Don't Break the Ice. You remember this game when you were a kid? I used to play it when I was a kid with my sister. Essentially, you have like this board with a bunch of like ice cubes kind of floating with a penguin on top. You use a hammer to break the ice. My daughter's already coming a little bit too sneaky. We'll be playing that game, and it'll be her turn to go. Eventually, she's going to lose. There's no way not to break the ice. And she goes, "You know what, Dad? I'll let you go next." And she's like trying to play it off as she's being sweet, but she knows. I don't know. I just think it's pretty sneaky she's already doing that. But besides being a very family approachable game, I do find it's fun. Like the memory component is obviously hard for me, so that's always an interesting thing to overcome. But I think the spells is what really does it for me. Without the spells, I don't know if I would like this game as much. But they do let you do these interesting combos. And they have like a lot of like mini expansions where they just include different spells. And sometimes you could play with as many or as little as you want. But when you have the right combination, it can kind of just do some cool things. Like for instance, if the Raven's Keep was on this guy and I had a person there, for instance, if you spend one potion, you can then lift up. See, I already forgot where it was. You can then lift up and move your guy to the top. Now, normally that's just to uncover them on top of the tower. But if the Raven Keep happens to be on top of the tower your guy is trapped into, then you immediately also score. So I also think that's a cool way to go out too. It's like you can kind of sometimes position the thing on the tower you want, and as long as you remember correctly, then you can jump in. To me, it makes the game very, it just adds a little something to it, makes it a little bit more fun for me. Now, I will say, for whatever reason, I do struggle teaching this game way more than I do Karuba or Gardlings that we kind of covered earlier. I think those are just maybe the mechanics is straightforward and they get it right away. Where this one, for whatever reason, it's you have the cards and you have the potions and you got to fill the potions and you got to get the wizards here. So I would say this is definitely more family plus, where the other ones I think are way more approachable. So not saying this is like out of reach of families. I just think this is definitely a slightly more advanced games than the other ones we covered today. Welcome back to the blue screen of goodness. All right, so we got 3 more games to kind of figure out where they go. Based on the buckets right now, man, I think these are going to go into welcoming games. I'm still debating whether I need a family games bucket or not, but we'll let it fly for now and see where it progresses. So, all right, so we have, honestly, these are all good games. So where to put them, I'm not sure yet. I think for right now, I'm still leaving Tower Up, Quadropolis, Cities. But for number 4, I think I'm going to put Gardlings in there first. Mainly because of all 3 games, that's the one I think I had recent success with, and it's probably maybe, like I said, maybe some recent bias. I probably could interchange Gardlings and Karuba because Karuba will be number 5, just so you know. Both of those I think are just easy hits to get people to play. And then at number 6, I'll do the Wandering Towers. Another great game. And then I think everyone else will just move down appropriately. So it'll be Shakedown City, Tiny Towns, and then Sunrise Lane. Now this is the first list that's filling up quick. It will be filling up soon because I definitely have a lot of these kind of weight games just because of who I'm playing with. So I'll be curious to see how it shakes up. Yeah, I still want to go back and play Tower Up. I think Tower Up is going to be, next time my friend comes over, my gaming buddy Chris, I think we're going to play Towering Up Quadropolis and just really fill it out again and see if if it's still, king of this bucket right now. Because that's the fun part. I think every time, but constantly doing these videos and looking at this list, it makes you want to go back and play these and really think, and kind of internalize them. We had a game night last night, and it was fun. We played a lot of fun card games, so you'll be seeing some nice card games coming up soon. Yeah. So if you're enjoying the content so far, hit subscribe, like it. It really does help. I'm new to this whole YouTube stuff. I don't know what I'm doing over here. I'm figuring out, but I am noticing though, that when you guys like or comment, the video tends to get seen by more people, and therefore more people come back, and obviously it supports me. So that's the easiest way to say thank you. Is hit like, make a little comment, and then yeah. Thanks again for joining us on this journey. I mean, it's crazy how fast the games are accumulating, and I can't wait to get into more. All right, see you later. Take care.